This is not a test. Don't expect to be impressed. Put on your life vest. Sit down your armrest. It's time to stray from the grind. Don't take my hand, 'cause you'll find no peace of mind. Side quest.
Welcome back to Quest for Competence. It's not happening, people. This is a side quest starring the beloved Misty Massey and Rick Waltieri and myself. But you know what? Introduce yourselves instead.
Where did Waltieri come from?
Waltieri. So you pronounce it for me.
It's not Waltieri. There's no fucking W in it.
I have been hanging out with Steve Weverell too much, with too many
Yeah.
W's and V's in his name. Everything's a W. Is it Gwal? Wall? Say it again.
Gwaltieri.
Waltieri.
No, it's not Waltieri. Gwaltieri.
Rick Waltieri.
Yeah, but anyway, it sounds like we got one cast member is at work, one cast member with a sick kid, and one
Right.
cast member who's busy tearing up piss carpet.
Oh yeah, I hope
walls.
I hope she puts
Piss
carpet
walls.
on the walls, just a piss wall carpet.
And we're not going to tell you which one is which.
You could make that like an art installation at like the Met.
Oh, 100%.
The restrooms are nothing. There's no urinals or anything. It's just wall-to-wall carpet with a sign that says "Piss where you must."
100%.
And anybody complains, and be like, "Why do you hate art?"
Yeah, exactly. You know, maybe you need to do one of those like you pee on it and then you put the black lights with some neon, and then you get a whole bunch of different colors, like with some Tide pens. Oh yeah,
Does pee light up under black light?
pee. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, because I was going to say, are you just assuming that everybody's going into the Met bathroom and just jacking off?
Well,
I mean, I know
that's what
I would, but
I mean, that's what it's there for. It's like that's for masturbating, and public and like libraries are for taking a poop. That's science.
no. When you're at the Met, it's artful masturbation.
Exactly. That's why you do it overhand or with the other hand. So
I'm taking none of you on a trip to New York with me.
Oh yes. Ooh la la!
oh yeah.
Look, a Jackson Pollock masterpiece upon the wall.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, but the whole
I hate that art. I despise his work. I have despised his work since I was a kid, and I had the Masterpiece game. Do you remember that game from the 70s? And the
No.
only painting in the whole shut up.
I was born in 75, so no.
Just whatever. All right. You're my sister's age.
Settle down, child. The adults are talking.
Tell me more about what it was like when people were still black and white.
Well, you going to ask me what life was like in the 1900s back in the olden days?
It'd be better. Can you get one of those? Like, can you get a title card? Now introducing dun 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 dun, and then you just have these little title cards, and because there were no talkies back when you were growing up. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. Sure.
Back when I was in high school, a home ec teacher who was a little on the older side asked, after giving an introduction to class, "Are there any other questions?" And one kid was like, "Yes, were the dinosaurs scary?"
Oh, did he get himself smacked upside his head? Oh no, that's a Southern thing. Never mind.
Yeah, up here it was frowned upon for anybody outside of the gym teachers to beat the shit out of the students.
When I was in elementary
that a
school,
bit.
my dad was the principal of my elementary school, and kids used to come up to me and say, "Does he really have a paddle with spikes on it?" And I'd go, "Yeah, he does."
It's for mom's ass.
Yeah, that's only when mommy's really good.
And he's got a riding crop and a ball gag and a zipper face.
No, I had the riding crop because I rode.
I bet
I
you did.
I did. I still got my riding crop and my hat. They're in my room. I think.
And now we know how your children were sired.
Yeah, we got Misty here being all yippee-ki-yay, motherfuckers.
Well, it is Christmas.
That is true.
So, what do we got? What do we got on tap for tonight? Since some of our party has abandoned us to the whatever the fuck maze that we're in is called.
We've got nothing. We are filling time. So let's it is one of those things, but I will honestly say, like, the people in the Discord, the A and Deviants and the Junior Adventures, I love them. I truly do. Ever since I joined this motley band of fools, like, they've been extremely warm and kind and open. So I figured we should at least do something for them. And I'm sure they've got questions maybe for the game. We could dive into some of those questions. Like we said it before, we could talk about our respective 2023s, from literary to our favorite personal moments, our author and dragon moments. Your call. So, dealer's choice. Who wants to start first?
Well, why don't we start with a question and then we can ease into why 2023 sucked giant octopus balls. And yes, for anybody wondering, it's like, no, I am not horribly disfigured, at least not more than normal. It's just cold in my little writing corner. And this thing is warm. And also, it's cool. It's fucking Cthulhu. My favorite thing in the world is winter when I can wear this out food shopping. I love doing that because people, like, in the store, especially the old ladies, they'll kind of look at you and they want to say something, but then they're like, no, I'm probably going to get shanked.
No, when the large 6-footish man with a Cthulhu mask, it's like you look like oh God, it's like a knit version of the guy from the 8mm, the Machine. He's just like, he's like, you're just there, you're there, you have a presence, you're a larger man, so you're gonna and big, and the Cthulhu thing, yeah, that just says that's nature was saying don't touch, don't engage. Just go to a movie theater like that, and no one will sit next to you.
But it's confusing because it's nice bright green, and so it's kind of cheerful and a little wholesome and not entirely scary. So so the shape
I
is
mean,
scary, but the green is la 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 la. So
But does it
somebody comes up
breathe
to me in the
well?
store
That's
and
the
they actually
question.
just want to talk, I'm more than happy to say something. But if they seem a little weird, a little snarky, instead of answering, I'd be like,
all right. Now, my question is, like, based on the image I'm seeing of you, are those lights reflecting your glasses or steaming up on your glasses?
oh, that's steam. That is
okay. That's what I thought.
Steam. Because no matter how much I try to angle my breath downward, yes, it steams the crap out of my glasses, which is one of the reasons why I tend more to wear my Krampus hat out in the
Fair.
store, which also gets pretty much the same reaction instead of this.
Fair.
sure.
Although, in all fairness, I really do love wearing this thing.
I am kind of jealous. I'm not going to lie. I want one that, like, hey, if there's any people out there who make, like, who's very crafty, make me one, but I want it to have, like, like tusks, like mastodon tusks, like.
So you want Cthulhu with mastodon tusks?
No, just like a full head thing, but with like not the nose, just the trunk. Because we were talking to some of the folks on Discord today. We were like, because the Godzilla, we that thing dropped today about the Godzilla. Rick and I recorded, and I love the behemoth Titan, the kaiju. It just looks like just like a giant sloth with these giant tusks, and it just walks around and messes things up in the Pacific Northwest. I love that thing, and I just want one. That's all. I just want one.
I mean, it's not that hard to do that. And I say this as somebody who can't crochet for shit, but it would be not that hard for my wife to do something like that. I know she didn't make this one. She bought this. And my middle son, he has the same one but in black, which looks far more sinister. But if you've ever seen my Arrow of the God masks, she crocheted those.
Okay, that's
and
cool.
She crocheted the Krampus hat too. So yeah, I mean, putting horns.
So for you audio listeners, you're missing out. Rick has got a full head covering, that's in a Cthulhu face ski mask thing with like a squid lips, and he looks like Zoidberg after eating too many, drinking too much Mountain Dew. And it works for me. It works for me, and I like it. So
why no love for Zoidberg? Let's see about questions. I'm like leaning in because now I'm not wearing my glasses.
Well, do you want me to ask him instead? I can read.
No, it's fine.
Okay, no.
Let's see here. Questions. What is your character's favorite kind of sandwich?
Don't have a character.
Okay, I'm assuming that whoever asked that has listened to the show at least once. and understands what the first thing that Onweir would say. But Onweir's favorite kind of sandwich is somebody on either side and him in the middle. So, but if we're
Well,
talking about food, I'm gonna have to think on that one.
I was going to say, Moog does not care as long as he is surrounded by dead elves.
Dead elf
uh,
sandwich.
since I'm the DM and I don't have a character, my favorite sandwich is. I mean, I'm never gonna go wrong with this. Like straight up, just peanut butter and jelly. You know, it's hard. To mess that up. I love it. It just makes me happy. It's simple.
Now, if we want to talk players' favorite sandwiches, mine is a tie between tuna fish because I still love tuna fish. Um, I do not make it with pickles in it because that's an abomination and horrific, and I don't care what my mother has to say about it. But I love tuna fish sandwiches and I love banana sandwiches. I will eat a banana sandwich any day of the week. So even though I really don't care for bananas any other way, but I will eat a banana sandwich very happily.
See, we have an interesting dynamic here in that myself and my kids, we're all fucking cockroaches. And like, if once we find something we like, we will like subsist on that forever. Whereas my
Mhm.
wife, Alyssa, she gets bored really quickly. Like, even if it's something she loves, if you give it to her more than 2 days in a row, like she's been known to like to walk around the house and be like, "There's nothing for me to eat. We just went to the fucking store. You bought a whole like thing of tuna fish for like lunch. Yeah, but I had that yesterday."
So
Me,
get
on the
out of
other
my
hand,
brain once again, Mister Walteri or Rick G, because that my wife does that on the regular. We have nothing to eat, and she can't eat the same thing twice. But she'll pre-pack her lunches. But I am that guy. I will eat the same thing 3 or 4 days in a row. I just don't care.
yeah, exactly.
Uh,
And like I remember all throughout high school, I had the same sandwich every day, and I was so happy with it. It was chicken breast with mustard. And you know something? I ate that every day. Not turkey breast because chicken breast tastes better.
It does. It
Yeah,
does.
it
Yes.
it
does.
has more flavor. Turkey's kind of
Yep.
dry and kind of bland. Um,
Yep.
but yeah, I was happy with that. Like I would have continued eating that for friggin' forever. Um, is that still my
Now,
favorite sandwich? No, my tastes have gotten a little bit, I guess, more robust. Now I prefer roast beef over chicken. Not
so
with
okay, now
mustard.
are we
That's
talking
just
like
weird.
sandwiches you make at the house, like snack sandwich? Because like I mean, if a Subway sub counts as a sandwich, then I will go to town on a few of their delicacies. I like flavor in my food and like that. But sometimes if I'm just around the house and just I'm bored, I've got nothing to eat, I got bread sitting around. Then it's gonna be peanut butter and jelly. I almost never keep deli meat in the house because I don't eat it fast enough. That's the thing. It's like I will dice. I'll make an omelet almost every day, like a 3 egg omelet, and I'll put in either like some Canadian bacon or some turkey or whatever, and like a little bit of like onion, and like that's my preferred. Like I usually tend to eat 5 times a day, so that's like my 10:30 meal. So and
If
I
we're
love
talking
that.
sandwiches you get outside, elsewhere. Well, first of all, Subway can go can go suck a whole load of Jareds there.
Yeah.
But
There
there
goes
used to be
our sponsorship. Thanks, fucker. Maybe I wanted the foot long. Maybe I wanted the meatball marinara. Maybe I wanted the chicken.
I used to like their meatball marinara, but then they changed their sauce. Their sauce went from like smooth to chunky, and now they can go fuck themselves.
Oh,
Yep, that's it.
Jesus.
You changed your
All
sauce.
right.
Now you can
Okay.
burn in
So the
hell, as
good
far as
people
I'm
at
concerned.
Subway know that the rest of A&D, we do not condone his comments. He might be off his medication. We actually like you. And if you want to support us, I will gladly delete everything he just said for the love of the meatball marinara. Uh,
For changing that sauce, I hope you all
you
get
God
cornholed in
damn
hell
it.
for eternity.
God damn
And
it,
I don't
Rick.
like their bread. Their bread is too soft and smushy. It sticks to my teeth. I like
Well, here,
there's a place locally called Substation 2, and they have this wonderful bread that it's not toasted, but it's nice and crisp on the outside. And so when I bite in it, there's a crunch, and that's the kind of bread I like. So if
can I ask
Subway
you?
would
Okay, let me
change
ask
their
you
bread,
all.
I would be Delighted.
There used to
Oh,
be a
Jesus, you
deli in
people are killing me.
Hoboken called Vito's. It might still be there for all I know. I haven't been in Hoboken in a while, mostly because I hate driving in Hoboken. But Vito's had two specialties, and they were both the best in the universe. One was a fresh cut prosciutto sub with their what was a prosciutto sub with their fresh mutts on it, and
Okay.
goddamn, that was good. And the other was similar, had their fresh mutts on it, but they used to have this marinated roast beef and like gravy and stuff, and you would do kind of like I guess a cheesesteak with that, with the fresh mutts, and
Mm.
goddamn, that was just like
Fresh.
I remember as
Saying the
as a
mutts.
college student, you'd get one of those subs and you'd get like a I don't know like a quart of Mountain Dew, and you were set for the weekend.
Wow.
No, I used to like certain like sub places. Like Quiznos is no longer with us, and I did enjoy the Quiznos. It went out of business years
Quiznos
ago.
is
Yeah,
really?
I'm oh yeah, I'm 99% sure they're gone.
I mean there
Uh
might still be a few around, but you're right. It's like Quiznos was everywhere, and then Quiznos was nowhere.
yeah.
That's curious. Okay. I guess
Yeah.
I just missed it.
Yeah, and the way they used to toast their subs was
Majority
so much
stake
better than
buyout
everybody
Uh,
else.
20.
nope, there are Quiznos in Charlotte and in Rock Hill.
Interesting.
Huh.
They filed for
Okay.
bankruptcy in 2014. Uh
Must be franchise independently
yeah,
owned
it must be independent
franchises or something.
franchises.
Yeah.
Because like the
Yeah.
Jersey Mikes, they have this one that my son and I really enjoy, but because of inflation, like I'm not, I don't know about you all, but when I go to get fast food, and I do consider subs to be fast food, I'm sorry, folks, you are your fast food. But if I'm
Yeah.
paying $15 to $18 for a meal from I'm like, I can go to a restaurant and get that and actually have like something like of better quality. Like,
Yeah.
and I understand that there's a whole thing about like minimum wage gaps and inflation. So I'm tracking all of that. That being said, I'd rather pay the $18 to get a plate of food from a restaurant than a Quiznos sub or a something sub, because it's like it's not worth my time or the $18 for that. I'm sorry.
Right.
You know what bugs me about Jersey Mike's? Nothing bugs me actually about Jersey Mike's. I like their subs, but I have a problem eating there because they used to show up on the Food Network all the time. Like, people talking about favorite sub places, and they would always talk to these old ladies about it, and they would always say the same thing. Like, I love Jersey Mike's because they're so fresh. Okay, and it was like that's what you love. Like, what were all these other places you go and then it's serving you rancid tomatoes?
Exactly.
Set the bar
I
higher.
I want a choice of bread. I've also come to the realization as I'm pushing 50, I it's time for me to stop lying to myself. I don't like food. I like sauce. It's kind of like if I get a
You like what?
McNugget, I like sauce.
Oh.
I like put it this way: if I get a chicken McNugget, yeah, I'll eat it, but I want that barbecue sauce without a hot mustard. If I get a sub, I want sauces drizzled on it because like whatever meat or vegetables you put on there, it doesn't matter. It's the sauce that like every bite of like you get a spicy chipotle on that sauce on that sandwich. Oh my god, makes me
Have you
so
ever had
happy.
yum yum sauce?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, because I was gonna say, like, I made fried chicken last night, and as much as I like dipping that in like barbecue sauce and stuff, I always keep a jar of yum yum sauce around because that is just the absolute best to dip shit in.
There's a quick fire here where I live in Maryland that like we get from all the time. And that's like, do you want the extra yum yum? I'm like, yeah, I want the goddamn extra yum yum sauce. I want as many of those little things as you can. Like, here's an extra $5. Just drown it, swim, my pretties. I'm just pouring it over my meal because I
You know you can
I
get
like
it at the grocery store, right?
you can go to hell, right? Like, I just want this quick.
Actual yum yum sauce. I
Well,
can
yeah,
the
you,
yum yum
I
sauce.
I
no,
only
there's
want it
something
with a
about
certain
having like
things.
somebody put it on it for you. Like
Right.
there
Well,
used
it's
to be a
also
sushi
like
place here, and I'm not a big fan of seafood, but this place would sell. They had teriyaki chicken sushi, and they would drizzle it with the yum yum sauce, and this was the best. These were the best sushi rolls ever, and then they went out of business, and I have been bitter ever since.
This is kind of like the argument that my guys give me. They always want me to make their sandwiches. My husband and my son want me to make the sandwiches, even though all I do is the same exact thing. I put the mayonnaise and the mustard on, I put the meat and the cheese on and everything. But for some reason, because it's a mom sandwich, it is orders of magnitude tastier.
Oh,
I don't
I
know why, because I'm
no,
the
no. It's,
mom.
it's
So
because somebody else did it.
I would
I'll
lie to
cook,
you in a
and I
heartbeat
know
if
I'm
you
a
just
decent
feed
cook.
me. I will tell you it's way better as long as someone else is doing the
Yeah,
labor. It's it's the same reason I'm the one that you mow the lawn so much better than I do. Yeah, shut up.
exactly. I know for a fact, and this is not to disparage my wife because she's a very good cook, but I know for a fact there are some dishes I do better than her. But you know something? If I don't have to make them, they taste that much better.
Well, ever since I started working from home, like I take care of a lot of the meals through the week. Especially as our dynamic has shifted, it's like I'm off more. There's no reason for her to like contribute as we tried to do it at 50-50, but we kind of fell into old like traditional habits, and that's shitty of us. But for years, she took care of 60% of the meals. I took care of 40, and then we eat out, every once in a while to supplement. But since I've been home, I cook a lot more. And I'm like, do you care that it's so basic? And she's like, just feed me. I don't care. Cause we eat small in the evening. Cause it's eat a decent breakfast, eat a decent lunch. Again, I eat 5 times a day. So I'll eat a dinner like around 6. I'll eat again at 9, So
My
so
my wife likes to hit me with these zingers because she'll come home from work and I'll have dinner ready and she'll be like, oh, this, and she'll be all happy and she'll eat it and I'll be like, oh, how was it? Oh, it was wonderful. you know and I'll be pleased as punch, and then she'll have to add, but I was starving, so I would have eaten dog shit if you had put it in front of me. Thanks. You had to just stomp on my night there.
yeah, yeah.
can't be giving you letting your head get too big there.
That's like back in your youth, you have a one night stand. Like, truth be told, I would have slept with anybody. Like, oh, thanks. That makes me feel so much better. But seriously, here's Cap Fair. Get out.
Yeah, it's like yeah, no, I understand. It's like it was either you or like a random hole in the drywall.
Yeah. But so
What
yeah, as we've
we're
getting
guys,
older, okay.
we're pigs. You know this.
So to
I do.
hopefully that 20 minutes answered your Zach of all trades. I hope that answered your question about our favorite sandwich
Yep.
or our
And if it
favorite
doesn't,
whatever.
if it doesn't, just ask again next week because I'm sure the answer will change.
You'll have new people to answer that one.
Right?
I can't find where that question.
Oh, I
is.
see one. Also from Zach of all trades. Do we prefer hijinks, shenanigans, or antics?
Zach, I did like you before this question. Fuck off. That's what I
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, you dipshit.
I can't find I must have scrolled past it, but somebody asked who who would you love to see play the wizard in a remake of The Wizard of Oz?
I mean, the guy at the very end of the movie, who gives a shit? It could be like Samuel L. Jackson. Fuck it. Like, it's at the very end of the movie. Who cares? Like, cast me Dorothy. Now we're talking. Again, Samuel L. Jackson as Dorothy. So,
It's impossible because I'm pretty sure that he's long dead, but the guy with the piglet voice who played uh who was on Star Trek the original series, and he was the administrator who ended up being the murderer in Wolf in the Fold. He was Rejak, but the whole time until you find out that he's Rejak, he's all walking around talking like Piglet from Winnie the Pooh. He'd be fun as the wizard, especially
I,
if he went nuts and turned into Rejak.
see, I'm gonna go a little closer to home, and I'm gonna say Robert Bevan as Jorcerer. Because man, I just want people to be. It's like, don't look behind the curtain. Oh my God! I told you not to look behind the curtain because he's jacking off back there.
yeah, just behold his wonder right there.
Is this going to be the next Authors and Dragons movie? A
And
remake of Wizard of Oz?
did you ever see the original Scary Movie?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
there's a sex scene in it, and when the guy blows his load, it's basically like a fire hose that like blows
Yes,
the woman
'cause
up to like the ceiling and stuff. And I'm
yes.
like, that's what I want to see when the person finally opens the curtain in Wizard of Oz, and just blast it against the wall.
That was a classy
Oh
scene,
man.
actually. I remember it. Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I'm not lying about the Samuel L. Jackson. If I had to get a different take on the Wizard of Oz, and he's just a piss off old man, but more like the Mr. Glass from Unbreakable version of Samuel L. Jackson, where he's got like the crazy hair in the eye, like staring you down. Of course, he's going to say motherfucker a time or two. That's how you get the R rating in this particular casting of of the Wizard of Oz. But I'd like to see that. I don't know why, but that's my go-to. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, after after having heard him do "Go the fuck to sleep," I can
Yes.
see this happening. So
That'll be another good choice. Clint Howard.
Jesus.
is
Because
he
I'm
still
thinking
alive?
about, like, I'm
Yes,
pretty
he's
sure he
still
is.
alive.
Okay, okay.
Like, the roles he's played, it's like, I'm thinking, if there's one person you don't want to open up a curtain and be surprised by, it's probably him.
Oh, no, 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 no. Mark Hamill. I want
Yeah,
Mark
that's
Hamill
pretty
to be
good.
the wizard. But he's got to do
Speaking
the jokery voice.
he won't do the he says he's like now that unfortunately Mr. Conroy is gone, he will not ever reprise the Joker without
Well, I mean, I don't mean it. I don't mean the Joker voice, but that he's got this
sure.
rasp that he did. Like, have you seen Fall of the House of Usher?
I exactly what I was about to ask you.
That
Yes.
voice. That's the
That
voice.
voice of
So,
his where he's down here. Yeah, like where he or
yeah,
where it was like, yeah, that was his Pim. He was
yeah.
he had a nickname in that. What do they call him? The help me out here. It doesn't matter. Now it's bothering me.
Yeah, I don't remember
I
to
don't know.
look it up, but yeah, have you not seen it, Rick?
Fall of the House? No, I haven't watched it.
Okay,
Ooh.
it was surprisingly good.
It was
So,
really good. In fact,
yeah,
it was one of my favorite things of 2023. It was
yeah, me
beautifully
too.
done. The Pim Reaper, that's what they called him, the Pim Reaper.
That's it.
It was bothering me. I would have rested till I'd known. So if
Actually,
you have
that's a great segue. Best TV show of 2023.
this was up there for me of this. I would definitely say it's in my personal top 5 because if you have not seen The Fall of the House of the Usher, it takes an Usher family and it lists it shows them in a version of like kind of like the Koch family or the family that made um Oxycontin, whose name is escaping me. The those folks, and they're high powered, they can't be touched, blah blah blah, and they slowly starts dying off one by one. And so it opens with most of them dead, and it's just the patriarch left, and he's finally confessing all his crimes to this investigative journalist. And so it goes back to how it all happens. It has a mystical element, it has got a horror element, and there are all these different things that are tied in from various Poe short stories, his one novel, a lot, and it's beautiful in the way that it's done. Some people say it was boring, and I tell them to go to hell. It was a slow, yes, it was a slow burn, but each episode was like concentrated death. Like each one was opulent and succulent, and like I just want to eat more of every single episode because it was so well acted and so well done and so well shot.
Well,
Yeah.
since there's only 3 of us here, I mean, we can do like our top 3 like TV shows of 2023.
Ooh, okay.
God.
Well, that's definitely one of my top 3. Someone else go.
Yeah, I gotta throw in on that one too because it was just amazing. Um, and what I liked about it too, in addition to everything that Gibby said, um, there were call outs to some of Poe's less well known stories. And as somebody who's been reading Poe since she was little, that was fun. Like there was a moment that they kind of called back to Hop Frog, which is a Poe short story that hardly anybody remembers because it was not one of the big 5 or 6, and so I was like, I know where that came from. So that was a lot of
See,
fun too to be able to
that's
see
my
those
wife.
little tiny things.
She's been teaching middle school English for the last like 27 years, and Poe has been one of her major things. So she is a Poe fanatic. So when she heard me watching it, she started sitting down. And my wife does not watch television, so she sat down and was like, we had to go back so she could watch all of this and catch all the Poe references. And of course, she got into the story. But when a non-TV watcher is sucked in, it's a good program. So yeah, definitely concur.
Exactly. So,
I know it's probably going to be like kind of a split opinion, but one of the things I just enjoyed it because I thought it had really good energy. I really enjoyed Netflix's live action ad- adaptation of One Piece.
I did not see it.
yeah, my son was a big One Piece fan, but I never really joined on that with him, and so I didn't know what I was getting beyond. Okay, it's goofy anime kind of piratey thing, but it pirate, and so I watched it, and yeah, it was really. I was very much entertained, and I was ready to watch every bit of it all the way through. So
Yeah, I
I,
mean, like the actor who played Luffy, like he just had this contagious amount of screen charisma that yeah, I've never been like I can't say I'm not a fan of the anime. I don't have a problem with the anime, but I never wanted to get into the anime because the anime is like 12,000 episodes long, and I'm like, I want to watch an anime, not marry one.
Right.
But I was familiar enough because I watched like the first season or so that I wanted to see how this was, and I was like, I'm really enjoying this guy who's playing the main character.
Yeah. Yeah, he was I thought it was interesting how he was goofy, but not in a way that made me go, "Oh God, would you just stop?" His goofiness was sweet and pleasant, and I liked it. But when he needed to be serious, he could be serious, and I thought that's really kind of neat how they managed to do that. So
I need to watch this because I my son is a big anime head, and I grew up with some anime, and like again, we're all of a certain age range, so like anime to me was like Vampire Hunter D and Robotech and Voltron, and I watched a few of the movies, and so by the time I got out of it and came back to it, there was like an entire generation of anime in between. So I skipped over all the Yu-Gi-Oh and all the Pokemon and all the stuff that other people fell in love with, like the Dragon Ball. But I came back in and started watching more and watching some with him, and really getting into parts of the genre. But there's so much; it's daunting. That being said, he has made it his mission to watch all of One Piece. He's 12. He started when he was like 10 and a half, and he's 12 now. So he's around episode 7 or 800. So he is chugging through. I'm glad he has goals. But I did watch like a 3-minute scene on one of those scrolling through Facebook, and it was that dude. I don't know anybody's names. He's got like the weird beard, and he got a giant sword in his back, but he fights with like a knife this big. He's like, and he fights him like
Yeah.
that. And that
yeah,
three
yeah,
minute fight scene they showed, I'm like, that was stupidly well done. Like that
yeah.
was stupidly well done. Like the choreography and the way the camera moved, I'm like, I might have to give this a chance because that held my attention. And I was like, I'm a critical asshole, and that held my attention. So
Okay. I'm also going to throw in a vote for and I don't know if this came out. I think it came out last year, but I didn't see it till this year. Severance on Apple TV.
I have not seen.
Um,
I don't have Apple TV, so
oh, well, I do the whole. Oh, look, you can have 3 months of Apple TV for free. Great, log in and have three
yes,
months, and then get out again
Yeah,
until they give me 3 more months for free.
I'm
So
doing the same thing.
right.
good. Okay,
so
I did try it. Got it.
Yeah, exactly. Severance was really neat. The idea is that these people go to work, and when they get to work, they have one identity, but when they leave work, they become somebody
Yes.
else,
Okay.
and they don't remember what they did at work, and when they're at work, they don't remember what they did at home, and so they are living entirely separate lives. But there's and work is very, very strange, very Orwellian, bizarre kind of,
Okay.
how is this even work sort of thing, because they're just clicking buttons and clicking numbers all the time, and it doesn't seem to make any sense
Yeah,
whatsoever.
I read about that. Isn't that like they figure out how to separate the right and the left hemisphere of the brain? So like one focuses on like leisure and like art and stuff, where the other is like But since they're not connected, they can't talk to each other.
Well, they didn't. I don't think it's a separation of one side from the other, but it's just there's some way that they have figured out to keep them, to separate their consciousness. And so there are two different consciousness going on at the same time. They're not even named the same thing. And so when they're outside of work, they know they've gone to work, they know where they work, and they know how to get there, and they know to show up, and they get in an elevator, and when the elevator goes up, that's when the change happens. And then when they get to leave again, they go down the elevator, and the change happens again, and they go out. So it it was it's very surreal. It's very, like I said, it's very Orwellian. It's
Right.
stark. But the end was, it was this huge cliffhanger ending, the kind that you're sitting on the couch, and you see the ending coming, and then they say, "Boom, there's the end," and you just scream because you know that now you have to wait. And especially in terms of Apple TV, and this was also during it ended before the actor strike, and so they were not able to start filming again right away. So it's going to be next year before, well, obviously, but it's going to be late next year before we get another season of Severance. And I'm
Well,
just crawling the walls because I want
at
more.
least that's a season cliffhanger. When they do like a series cliffhanger, where they do that shit, that's the sort of stuff. Um, and this was not there. So there was a show on Netflix. It was, what was it called? It was called Ragnarok, and it was
Mhm.
basically like a modern day version of, like, the Norse god. Like, the Norse
I
gods
watched
basically
it.
were reborn and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
And I remember
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the first season. I think the second season too. And the third season just recently released, and I watched that, and I was like, all right, not bad, not bad. And then we got to the final episode. I was just like, you have got to be fucking kidding me.
Yeah,
Fuck you. Fuck your
don't.
mothers.
I'm
You know?
I skip. I like it's one of those like it. I was talking to like one of my other writer friends who I want to have an interview with her on a side quest on another time because she's awesome. But we immediately, because she's in the Netherlands, and so she, as soon as she watches, she like pings me on Discord. Did you see the final episode? I'm like, I did. We need to talk and argue because this sucks. 100%. I loved that show. I truly did. And like the ending of that, the finale was like, I understand they're going for artsy, but that's like a fart after sex.
Oh yeah,
This is, you had something really good and you ruined it. And it just,
yeah.
it broke my heart how bad they
Yeah,
crushed this
like
show.
that was Game of Thrones final season bad. Like, almost like they it wouldn't have been any worse had the writers and producers just showed up on the screen and be like, "Thanks for watching. Fuck you."
I would say
But
like my
but
next,
was it
like, go
was
ahead.
it Lost final season bad?
See, Lost. Here's the thing. I'll defend Lost final season. I'll defend it. It's not as good as season one, but things never are.
Mhm.
But it's one of those like they also had a writer strike. They also had issues going on.
That's
But
true.
I think people like saying the whole time they were in purgatory. They weren't in the whole time. The island happened. The final season with the Flash sideways, where people were after in time in the future when they got off the island, they all died of natural causes, and everybody's just waiting for the last person to die so they can go into heaven together. That's what the whole sideways stuff was. It was just a holding pattern until the last person joined them. I understand what they were going for. It worked sort of. It just wasn't, unfortunately, cohesive. Now,
Mm-mm.
my number two, if you have not, we can argue another time. Blue
Yeah.
Eyed Samurai.
Mm.
Blue Eyed Samurai on Netflix. Like, okay, so in 2021, the good people at Netflix amazed me with this show, Arcane. It blew me away in storytelling, in character design, and animation, and art direction, and music. It's my number one. If you want to be a great, perfect show, you have to beat Arcane. Blue Eyed Samurai hit the ground like, whoa, you are number two. You are number two. This is, if you have not watched this show, have either of you watched it?
No.
Sort of.
Okay, sort of.
My husband is watching it, and so sometimes if he's watching it and I'm in the room, I'm watching it with him, and I agree, it is very good. It's very well done. It's just
You
not
need.
quite my thing to just suck me in completely. So
I think if
so
you think I think if you start from the beginning, truly start from the beginning,
yeah.
you might be more into it. But like obvious for those listening and those at home, you have it's set in the period of Japan when Japan closed its borders to the West. It says no more crack, get out, honkies. We don't want you because you are ruining the Japanese spirit. So and anybody who was of descent of Caucasian descent was seen as a demon. So we have this girl who obviously unfortunately has blue eyes and is seen as a demon. And she's on a quest to find the last people in Japan who might be her father and kill them. So it doesn't hurt. It also doesn't help that she's a female. So she has to hide the fact that she's female to learn all these things. But most of the main characters are set in this world where one character doesn't have hands, one character's blind, one's a female. So it's a world not built for these people, and they're still doing their best to succeed in this world within these dynamics. And it is a beautiful show, but also it goes full John Wick as often as possible. And you get to see a lot of motherfuckers die. And it is so it's not noble looking into the wind with lotus blossoms flowing. It's got that too. It also has she's probably lost, I don't know, 33 gallons of blood over the course of those 9 episodes
At
and keeps
least.
on trucking, like, and that's what I want. I want John McClane at the end of Die Hard, bleeding, broken, and still mustering force. So Blue Eyed Samurai, with a bullet, like right up there on my top 3 list.
Yeah. Yeah, from the parts that I've seen, I've enjoyed it, and it's very well done. It's very adult. This
Hmm.
is not kids anime at all. Um, so that's that's one thing to know. But yeah, it's really good. So
Hmm.
uh,
You got a number two, Rick,
Well, I'm not really going in order, but I know it's kind of a
or a
divisive series.
second? How about that?
What
Yeah.
yeah. I really enjoyed this season or the last season of The Boys. Because they had Jensen Ackles on.
Yep.
He the dude just like sweats charisma. And I mean, he's just playing this dirtbag character that it looks like he was having so much fun playing.
After
Soldier
all that
Boy.
time of being a nice guy
Yeah,
on the Supernatural, he gets to say fuck a lot. Yeah, it's
yeah.
no, he's a heartthrob. He's a bad boy, but he's a good guy. No, he's not a good guy anymore. He gets to say the
oh yeah,
most
Yeah, but here's the
wrong
thing: he's a
shit.
terrible character, but he's so much fun to watch as this terrible character.
he's a terrible character, but he's still not as bad as Captain What's His Face, the blonde guy.
Homelander.
Well, no, in some,
Homelander,
no,
thank
in many,
you.
in
Oh
many
no,
ways
Oh,
he
he's
is.
equally as bad.
Like
He's
yeah,
equally
he's
as
pretty much
bad.
equally as bad. But like, but
yeah.
and that's the thing. Like both him, like the guy who plays Homelander, he's also super charismatic. So it's like you have these people on there who are just able to exude charisma while being complete and utter scumbags, and I just love watching that shit because it's like
Yeah.
I want to hate your character, but I'm having so much fun watching it that it's
Well,
like
it's a
that it's really
for all
hard
the
to.
for all the writers out there or would or want to be writers with professional, amateur, whatever, you study Homelander. Study how to make a bad guy that's charismatic. Even though he is obviously like racist, homophobic,
He's
misogynistic, and
horrible.
murderous, you want more of him
Yeah,
because now that's all through Anthony Starr, the actor's charisma. But someone's writing his lines.
yeah,
So, and he's got you. So that is your goal, to make someone as charismatic as Homelander. Like, even though you hate him, you love to hate him. So,
yeah. But like almost everybody on that show is like is just like there's just so much with like almost every character on there. It's like even God the one character who doesn't speak. Uh,
the
she
girl,
just like she just tears people's faces off. Like
I think
it
it's Kumiko. Yeah.
Kamiko, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I know some people are like, well, it's over gratuitous violence. Yes, it is, and but once
Yeah.
you get past that and accept it, it's fun to watch because it's so
Right.
over the top that it's really hard
It's
to
one of
take
the reasons that the
seriously.
spinoff disappointed me when I watched Gen V. I know some people are loving Gen V. They're like, "Oh my god, it's Gen V was so." It felt like, what's a line that I'm doing it right now. Goldblum did in Jurassic Park. You stood on the backs of greats and just took the
Yeah,
next step. Like, they're
Right.
standing on the shoulders of the boys, and they are having exploding dicks without knowing why they should have exploding dicks.
yeah,
If that makes any sense, it to me it was like it was really bad writing, and I know
yeah.
some people love
It
it. I'm
was
like
it was
it.
not a fun show, and but one quirk I had with that show is that every single person, there's no such thing as making out in this world. You kiss somebody, you fuck them. Which I always thought, like, man, that must make holidays with grandma really awkward. There was this cartoon spinoff of from the boys, and that's
Yes,
really well done.
that was good. It was really
Yeah,
good.
I haven't seen that yet.
It was an
So
anthology story. It was really good.
I
yeah,
have watched Gen V, and I think the problem with Gen V is that they were trying to the thing about boys is, as you've pointed out, they're all reprehensible humans. And they're bad people. Some of them are badder than others, but they're still all bad people. And the idea with Gen V is that there are actually some people who are not so bad, and so it doesn't quite work
I
with the
think
setup, because we're not look
right.
in that reality, we're not looking for good guys, we're looking for bad guys and less bad guys.
Well, I
So
would say this: the one thing that angered me about Gen V, and anger is a strong word, but the one thing I just couldn't stop seeing is, like, obviously the writing is supposed to very thinly veiled, as if it's right on the nose. Like, it's using superpowers to reflect societal problems like depression, cutting, anxiety, parent issues, bleeding, all these things. But so like their power, like bulimia, like their powers come from a social anxiety or a social quirk or something, or something people that suffer through. And it was so on the nose that it wasn't clever to me, and
Yeah.
so it was just, and again, half the kids are like, they know their world of superheroes, there's dirt bags and celebutants and assholes and killers. Like the moment, like that one kid, remember, they were trying to make them good towards the end. Remember that kid almost murdered a lady playing with that little metal thing and sliced her through the neck. And they were just going to ditch. They were all just going to ditch and let that lady die. They did not give two shits because they didn't want to lose their spot in college. Like these are bad people. The one girl,
Yeah.
whose name is escaping, but the girl with the blood powers, she's like the only decent one among them. And now I liked her when she was on Sabrina because she was the best friend of Sabrina on that show. So, but she's all grown up now. But yeah, that show is a disappointment. But it didn't disappoint me as much as The Last of Us. Oh,
I like The Last of Us.
I love The Last of Us, but I'm in a serious Pedro Pascal position right now.
Listen,
So,
I'm not gonna poo-poo on Pedro. I love Pedro. I like the girl that play. There were so many elements of that show which were chef's kiss perfect, except for the cohesive story, because there wasn't one. Like, you can't set this up and say this is the apocalypse. You can't dedicate entirely new things from the video games. Like, you don't understand how bad this virus is going to be. This virus. 6 zombies, whole show. It wasn't about this, and it was all, and it didn't. They kept skipping around time so much. There were like when they had this one time jump of like 120 days after they've been walking, and like they're still sniping at each other at 120 days. When you are attached at the hip to somebody, you have watched them poop. You have heard every joke. You know them pretty fucking well by this point. And now, that being said, the Frank and I can't remember the other character's name, the 2 gay men who had a beautiful love story. That episode is perfect. In a box, perfect episode.
That
without a doubt.
Shredded me. Shredded me. I was on the couch,
my dead heart,
sobbing my heart out. Oh, that was so lovely.
And but the rest of it, I'm just so much.
I really enjoyed it, but you're right. It's like one of my least favorite things about playing the games, and I've played both of them, and they're fun games. Naughty Dog makes really great games. Is I'm playing them with the action. I'm not necessarily caring about the human drama. Honestly, when I'm playing that game, 90% of the time I'm making up my own dialogue. That's usually like nothing to do with the story.
If I may, during the game, again, I played them both. When Joel gets the rebar through the stomach and Ellie has to spend the winter trying to save his life and like that. But that is a haunting moment in the midpoint of the game, and it happened in the show. But they have had so many back and forths and quips and bonding, and we got none of that in the show. We're just told, it's kind of like we're told and not shown. They did a lot of telling and not a lot of showing. And I felt like, here's the thing. It looked great. It was wonderfully acted. All the characters are great. They truly were. And on paper, it's a home run. But when I'm watching it, like, I don't want to watch it again. Like, I have no desire to. Like, I've watched Game of Thrones, like, first 4 seasons multiple times. I have watched, a lot of these shows multiple times because it's like revisiting an old friend. I have no desire to see this again. Yeah, it was pretty. But it's just if you step back and look at the story as a whole, like, it's not.
It was a really short season. They should have doubled the episodes, and and given us because you're right. It did feel kind of rushed, where it was like, okay, we're just meeting each other, and now we're in Colorado, and what?
Yeah, they did a lot of things. Like you have to take into consideration the time that they spent together from one episode to the next. So there's a sense of continuity. Some of the things they chose, like, for example, they spent 22 minutes with a woman, I think it was in Bangladesh or it was Indonesia. Doesn't matter. She was the foremost scientist on this, whatever. Then she killed the whole city. Jakarta, killed the whole city, destroy everything. Because they spent 22 minutes of her seeing the thing, seeing the virus, seeing the zombie, seeing the creature, and kill the thing. But again, we only ever had 2 real zombie attacks. It was a prestige Walking Dead without the zombies. And so it was never a good zombie show. It wasn't really that Lone Wolf and Cub either. It tried to do a lot of different things, carry it across the weight. Now, Druckmann is a wonderful writer, and you can argue the merits of the video games all day long. They are wonderful games, and it has a great fan base. It just, as a whole, it kind of let me down a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, like the fact that they went through the entire first video game in one season. What was it, like 6 episodes or something?
Yeah.
That felt short because yeah, the game is pretty sprawling, pretty long. That's one of those games you spend like 20, 30 hours playing.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, to condense it all, you're right. It's like I still enjoyed it. I had a really good time watching it. But yeah,
And I
there
don't
were
fault
some
anybody that
there
does.
were
I
some
still
things
liked
where
it.
yeah.
Just didn't blow me away, like I was hoping it would, because I had a lot of hype going into it. And maybe that fault is mine. Maybe I put too much hype on it. But after seeing all this, like, clearly the production value is through the roof. It is a gorgeous show. So,
Hmm.
all right, does anybody have a third thing they want to nominate for their particular list?
Sure. Oh, go ahead,
No,
Rick. If
no, I was gonna say it's still ongoing, but I am enjoying the fuck out of Monarch Legacy of Monsters.
Still need to get that Apple TV and watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, my Apple TV ran out, so I gotta wait until we get another one to get to. We watched the first episode, and it was really good, and so we're gonna have to watch it later on. But I earlier this year we watched the first season of a show on, I think it's on the MGM network,
Mhm.
called From, and it stars Harold
Dude,
Perrineau.
I
And
love that.
did you watch it?
Both seasons.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. I've seen both seasons. We're waiting on three, aren't we? Okay.
Yeah, because I
Um,
did that. I did the same thing. Because it was like the first season was free on Prime, and I watched the first episode, and that the next day they took it off of Prime, so I had to get the
yes.
MGM pass so I could watch all of season 1, season 2, and then cancel my pass. So,
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
what a
That's what we did.
wonderful show! I think
That
season
was
1 was stronger, but it was such a
yeah.
wonderful show.
Really good. And it stars Harold Perrineau, and I'm sorry, but I feel about Harold Perrineau much the same way I feel about Pedro Pascal. I could watch him do any damn thing on screen, and I'm good with that. But
Well, because
he just does no wrong. He's so
you
talented.
did read the thing that's like it's made by the same people, like some of the same creative force behind Lost, but they want to tell a better story than what they did. So Harold Perrineau was Walter's dad in Lost, and there's a lot of
Right.
Lost alumni. So for those who don't know, this show is like there's this town, and people who enter it can't leave. That's it. And but it's like it's the weirdest thing. They're like it's like a Lost type setting where it's like things. It's anachronistic. Things are from like old, present, future. It's weird.
Mhm.
Radio signals don't come in and out. They can't communicate. Monsters show up every single night, but as long as you have this little symbol above your door, they can't come in, but they'll tempt you. They want to
Yep.
get in, and it's
And they can look
so
like anything or anyone.
anything.
So yeah, that's
It's
how they get
so
in. But
bizarre. And there's always a weird guy who's been there since he's a kid, and he knows certain secrets. And sometimes you walk into a tree in one spot, you walk out a tree in another spot, and it's so wonky and weird. And it's like I really hope they actually know what they're doing and they're just not making shit up and guessing, like they kind of did with Lost a little bit. So
right,
but
exactly.
I hope they actually have a game plan, because I was blown away by how awesome that show is. So
I hope so too, because I've said that to people that it's like Lost if Lost did it right the first time. So
right.
but I love that show, and especially in season 2, even though season 2 was a little weirder than season 1, but it had this whole kind of creepy Narnia vibe going on in a
Yes.
lot of the episodes, and so that was like, okay, I can get into this because I was a Narnia girl from way back.
Sure.
So, but this is now grown up, scary Narnia, and
When they reach the tree with the bottles, that just creeped me out.
yeah, oh my God, yes,
For no reason, there's a
and
tree, and every tree's got like a string with a bottle and a note inside of it, and you don't know why. And it's just sometimes it's there, and sometimes it's not. And it's
well, and so funny because as a southerner born and raised, there are people down where my parents live who make bottle trees. They stick blue glass bottles on the ends of branches of these short shrubby kind of trees, and they're to catch evil spirits and witches and stuff like that
right.
in the bottles, and you leave them on the tree. You don't take the bottle down,
I got
because if you
Appalachia
take the
family.
bottle
I know.
down, it
I
gets
understand the. I
okay,
under-
okay, yeah. And so that tree, I was like, "Oh, I wonder if it's what I think it is," but we don't know because it hasn't been answered yet. So, but yeah, that show is amazing, and the acting is really good, the writing is really good, and I'm hanging around for season 3. I mean, I don't have MGM right now because I
I'll
was
I'll
done
get
with
I'll get a
with
trial when that time comes. Yeah, same thing. It's like,
exactly, exactly.
but
I'm
it's one of
thinking
those.
we
A
need
friend of mine
another sci.
recommended. I watched it. It blew me away. So you're saying,
Sounds like we
Rick?
need another side quest down the line where Gibby just talks about his Appalachian family there.
Oh no, I
I
mean,
bet
the
there's
Gibson
stories to
family,
tell.
like, well, no, the Gibson family when they came over from Scotland, like they settled in Kentucky in the Appalachian Hills, and then half of the clan split and went north to West Virginia to do the same coal mining truck. That's where my side comes from. But I've got old family from down in that. It's one of the reasons when I listen to that podcast, Old Gods of Appalachia, and I'm just like, God, it's just the stories that I used to hear from like the grandparents side of the family all the time. Yeah, there is a lot of like old myths, yeah, myths and mysteries and witchcraft and the green and the dark and like haints and boogers and all these things from like that brought it from the old country, and they found it in Appalachia, these old hills that they're dark and they don't want you there. And it's like there's a presence. So yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I love there's a huge like like Appalachian like presence on TikTok, and I love it because they're always fighting because like half the people are like, yeah, you go into the woods, don't look in the trees because something will be looking back, and like the other half are like, I'm in the woods all day. There's
Yeah.
squirrels,
There are some
Or the
deep
whole
parts.
if you hear the whistling, don't go toward it and don't whistle back and yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, because it's there's the difference between the woods and places where it's known as a holler. If you go to a place that's known as a holler, there's a very good chance that you're going to like it's people get lost in the woods and die on the regular because there are places that you just get turned around. Sounds bounce off trees and it's so dense and it's dark. It's primeval for a reason. It's kind of like it's America's version of the Black Forest of Germany, where a lot of horror stories have come from. It's like all the Grimm's fairy tales come from like that central region of Germany. That primeval dense Fangorn forest like place, where the trees don't want you.
now, but
Yeah.
I understand the whole sound bouncing thing. Like I had an uncle who used to live in Jackson, New Jersey, and they had this weird acoustics with their house where if you were on the side of the house, anybody talking from the backyard would sound like they were coming from the opposite yard across the way. And it was the weirdest ass thing. Like you would totally expect to go there and like turn right and see people, but everybody was like left.
Yeah.
Scary.
Yeah. That's why all the great witches and things come out of that. All right. So
Oh
does anybody
yeah.
have a third? Because an honorable nomination goes because I'm enjoying this. I'm continuing the show, The Bear. If you have not on Hulu, I love that show. Same with the Reservation Dogs. They had their third and final season. Both those shows kind of blew me away. Gene Wilder's kid, Jeremy Allen White, is an amazing actor. He's a national treasure. I love this kid or
Wait,
grandchild.
that's who that is?
Yeah, that's
He's
Gene
Gene Wilder's kid?
grandchild, I think.
Grandson. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he looked
I've seen an
kind of like
episode
him.
or two. So
Yeah, but the show on Netflix called Beef is amazing. It is. I'm trying to think. Stephen Young, the actor that played. He was in The Walking Dead. He ball cap
Yoon.
Asian
Stephen Yoon.
Stephen. Yeah,
Yeah.
Stephen Yoon. I'm trying to remember. I can't remember his character's name. He got whacked in season 5.
Glenn.
Doesn't matter. He's also
Glenn.
Oh, Glenn, thank you. So the actor that plays Glenn, that Stephen Yoon and Ali Wong are these.
Okay.
What he is a dude that wants to kill himself. She is a wife, kind of a trophy wife kind of thing, but she hates her life, and she like hits his car one day, and it just turns into this like beef between them, and they keep living to try to one up and hurt the other one emotionally, physically, financially, spiritually, and it is like it's like a full season of these people, just their war of escalation of like bad people being worse to each other, and it is so good. And I really beef. If you want to watch it, let's just watch like kind of like it's a Arrested Development like style, but like maybe a slightly R-rated version thereof. Yeah, check this out. It's worth your time.
Okay.
I'm
Interesting.
going to throw an honorable mention in there. Just not that was necessarily good, but just because it was there. But Netflix released 2 new seasons of Baki or Baki Hamna this year, and they were both just absolute gloriously batshit.
Okay.
So Baki is a fighting anime, and
Okay.
it is like it is probably the most homoerotic anime. Like there is probably more so than actual
Gay
yaoi
porn. Okay.
anime. Yeah, but it's also just completely like just out there. Like season 3 had to do with they found this caveman from 200 million years ago who used to punch dinosaurs to death, and they defrost them, and every fighter in the world decides they want a piece of this guy. Except the guy's also a cannibal. So
Ah,
in one case, like him and this other fighter, they lock jaw. They like have a test of jaw strength with each other, and it's like pretty much they locking in this kiss. And except one of them, like the caveman wins and like tears off the other guy's face and eats it.
okay.
It is just the most like there has to be so much cocaine that goes into the writing of this anime.
I love it. I love it. I'll throw in an honorable mention for The Diplomat, also on Netflix. Because it's when you first read the description, you think, okay, this is going to be international intrigue and yay. But then you get to watching it, and there's so much humor. We were laughing every single episode, and you don't expect that from an international intrigue, spy kind of secret agencies and stuff show. So it was a lot more fun than I think the description would lend you to think.
I
So
just got to interrupt to say, please give Dobby a sock, master.
Oh,
For
I
those
don't
for
think
I
those
Dobby
say
for
would.
that
those of you
all the
not
time.
watching on YouTube, Gibby's dog just made an appearance, or at least I
She
assume
is
it was his dog and not just a
no,
random
it's
dog that walked in.
It could have been a
it's
house elf. We're not sure.
we used to say because yes, she does look like, and when she stands up on her hind legs, give Dobby a sock, master. I do that all the time because when she looks right at you, she is part beagle, part greyhound. She's made of like she's like Frankenweenie. She's made of spirit dog parts. She is like her legs are stupid long. Her head is too small. She looks like a Chihuahua head with long legs. We love her. Stella's amazing, but she is yes, she looks like a house elf. Like, and it is. We like to put her in like little t-shirts, like dog shirts, because she that particular
Dobby is
mix gets
free.
really exactly that mix gets very cold. So we're constantly putting her in like dog fleece sweaters, and she loves them. She
Yeah,
prances around the house in them. Yeah.
sure.
What are you doing
Oh,
All right. I mean, do we have any questions on Facebook we wanna hit?
well, we had one. Uh, our dear beloved fuck you, Mark, wants to know what is the best concert you've ever been to, and I'm gonna go with Pink Floyd, Delicate Sound of Thunder tour, because we had seats in mezzanine, the center mezzanine second row, and so which was perfect because for a Pink Floyd show you want to see everything. You don't want to be pinpointed. You want to see the ginormous stage, and so mezzanine second row put us and center put us in the perfect position to see everything. Plus, some guys in the first row, about 3 seats to the left, were smoking to beat the band. And so we had this lovely little contact buzz going on the whole time, too. So, which really works for a Pink Floyd show. So, Pink Floyd, Delicate Sound of Thunder tour. So,
I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I've only ever been to one concert in my life
Okay.
because I'm not a huge fan of like live music. So by default, it was both the best and the worst. And honestly, it wasn't very good.
oh no.
I mentioned, and I think I mentioned this before because I used to work like at this amusement park as a teenager, and we just stayed late one day, and we were like, "Oh, Samantha Fox is playing," which I'm sure dates me. So we were like, "All right, why don't we go see this?" Um, and I mean, it was there, but I've been to like my wife's like classical concerts. It's like a
Mm.
completely different vibe. You know, when I think concert, I think like okay, standing up, like rave type stuff. Um, but yeah, I've only ever been to one. It's like I've part of it is I don't like the prices that they charge for this shit, and two, it's just yeah, I've never liked. I've liked bands enough to collect their CDs and listen to their music and stuff, but never really to be like to care enough to be like, yeah, I want to wade through people and see you.
Yeah, I haven't been to a concert since the late 80s because I really just cannot stand for 4 or 5 hours anymore. And you have to stand. Nobody sits down for these things ever anymore, and my legs won't take it. So. and it's stupid expensive anymore. I mean, I remember we got tickets. In fact, I think it was the last live concert I went to was the Rolling Stones Steel Wheels tour, and the tickets were like $85, and we were going, $85? This is madness. What is this world coming to? $85. And even though it's the Rolling Stones, and now I go, $85. Wow, that was the day.
Well, that'd be like 225 now, that kind of thing, So I think for me, I've been to a bunch of concerts. In my younger days, I liked festivals because you'd see band festivals, you'd see a lot of bands and everything like that. And you pay your entry fee, and like 10,000 people, 50,000 people all walking around and seeing shit. And also back then I had hair and I was chasing girls. So like, I think I really liked concert because I liked, uh, picking up girls. As I got older, like I don't want to go to a concert anymore, but that being said, I have seen the Dropkick Murphys play multiple times, and there's this one time they came to Maryland at the Meriwether Post Pavilion, and the Bunny Body Boss Tones opened for them, and they put on such a show that it was one of those things, because like you're up on this grassy hill, because like you can see the stage, you can see everything just fine, but there's the general mission, just sit on the hill, and the grass hill, because there's the seats, but they also have these giganto jumbotrons, so you can see the bands as well like that, but you can hear everything perfectly well, and it's a wonderful place to go to a concert. But they one, the Boss Tones tore it down. Two, the Dropkick Murphys just put the nail in the coffin, because every time they do a show, at least at least in the time they used to, like they would open it with the late Sinead O'Connor's version of the Foggy Dew. That's the Getting Ready song. So if you never heard that version, it's like it's haunting. And then as soon as the last one hits, they hit the stage and blow it away. And then at the end of the show, the Boston's come back on and they're all playing music together, and they do the Ship Up to Boston song, and like that they collaborated on. And it was just one of those, I saw multiple generations of punk, ska, nerds, aggros, punks, like all these people together. Like I would see, like there was like a 12-year-old, like a 11-year-old kid just dancing there next to these adults. No one got hurt. It was just, they were just there to like embrace the chaos of these like Irish punk rock bands, and it was amazing, and I've seen them play live many times, but that was pretty much one of my favorites. So
Cool.
yeah.
Back to Discord. Our friend Blix asks, "Do you have a goal to mark when it's time to call it quits or retire? Basically some point where you hit and you say, I have made it. Now I'm done."
I think I'll get canceled before that happens. Like it's one of those, like when the coffin lid shuts on my fingers before they can reach a typewriter or a keyboard anymore. That's when I'm done. I've got too many stories to tell. Now, if I got fuck you money, like where I then I could just get crazy with my writing, but because like I'll just write for my gold toilet. But I'm always going to write and keep doing what I do. So I mean, I want fuck you money. So, but in the meantime, I'll just write to be happy.
Yeah, if I ever win the lottery, and yes, I do buy tickets, don't come in and tell me how that's just math for stupid people, because
Don't care.
I don't
Hey,
care. It's my
you
money, and I can pay. I can buy a
you
ticket
miss
if I want to.
you miss every shot you don't take.
Thank you. Yeah.
You're
My
welcome.
my chance my chance at winning if I have a ticket is still more than if I don't have a ticket. So,
I mean, look at it
but
this way. You were born. You were what, 1 in 14 million that made it. So out of all the sperm. So boom, there's that. Exactly. Two, we all got to be writers, and that's something like you told you, like when I was a kid, that's something you can't do. So we're all winners. I mean, you might as well just push your luck and go for the lottery. That being said, remember who supported you and who just wants his mortgage paid off. I'm asking for just pay off my mortgage. So
Well, and see, that's the thing. I would have so much fun if I won the lottery, because I would be secretly, anonymously helping people that I like, and I would make sure that they didn't know it was me.
right.
There would be no link to me. I would have a financial advisor that could help me out with this, but I would be like love bombing my friends with, look, how did that happen? Your mortgage got paid off. How could it be? We don't know. We can't tell you. A benefactor. And meanwhile, people can look at me and go, is it you? Because you said you would do it. And I'd go, look, I'm still living in my little 1,500 square foot house.
Yeah,
Can't be me.
like me recording, you'd still see this background, except it would just be stage props. Like behind it would be like a 90-room sex grotto. So
Exactly.
I push a button, this all retracts into the floor.
See, all I have to do is move this curtain wherever I go, and so, but that would, I think, if I got to the point where I had fuck you money, like you called it, yeah, I would probably go find something else to do. But until that, I'm not going to stop
I
because
would say if I truly
I'm
hit
still trying.
a lottery or like a big, whatever the shit, after the mortgage is paid off and I don't have like those particular financial woes, I would probably truthfully go into publishing and help other people get published. That's probably what I would do with my money. I'd still write my stories, but I would like pay it forward as much as I could, because it's like it's a hard business to get into, and same thing with like all the arts, painting art, everything like that.
Oh
It's
yeah,
it's a hard business to get into and harder to stay keep hitting your head up because like I don't know about you, like the last couple of weeks I've had some writer's blues. Like it's everything I write just feels wrong, and I'm having a hard time getting my head back into the game. But it's like it's just the winter time, it's just the blues, and
yeah,
this I bounce back. But it's that tenacity. It's hard, So I'd help people. That's what I would do with the money. And yes, the sex grotto, obviously, that is that's
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. That's my
and a
that's
bucket
that's
of
my thing.
Viagra.
It's like get it all it's set. I mean, I'd still. I mean, having all the money in the world. Eventually, I don't really have a lot of wants. I don't see myself like traveling the world doing all sorts of weird shit.
oh, I
I just
would.
want to be financially secure. And at that point, at that point, the writing probably just becomes. I mean, the writing never stops being fun, but it becomes a lot more fun because then it's just like you're right. Now I can like do those speculative weird things, just that like I know are going to be commercial failures, but I don't need to care. Um,
Yeah,
I mean, the thing is like writing. Yeah, it's one of those things where like my mind is always it's like as long as my mind is active and I don't like I don't know do too much like high grade Bolivian cocaine where like it melts out of my ears. Um, yeah, it's like so yeah. I
That being
see
said,
that.
I'm not opposed. If any of the listeners have high grade Bolivian cocaine at the next convention, like I'm willing to try. I don't know what's going to come out of my writing or my mouth because I'm hyper to begin with. So imagine all this on cocaine. So
yeah, not me. I when I try to write anything and I'm
I said when I
at
tried
all
cocaine,
enhanced. No, when I if I'm at all enhanced and I try to sit down at the computer, it just becomes silliness. I
I,
generally, if I'm enhanced, I need to just be sat in front of a TV screen and said, "Look, funny movie, watch movie," and left alone because I cannot. My husband, if he's enhanced, he can be so creative. It's amazing, but doesn't
God,
work
now
for
now
me.
now now I want to see like at the next A&D con, Gibby high as balls. He's standing on the roof of the hotel, just wearing nothing but his underwear, swinging a golf club, screaming like "fuck you, leprechauns."
they know what they did. They know what they did. They So yeah, I mean, I've always said if I ever reach that point where like at that age, just or to get just really old, try every drug before you die. Just I mean, I'm not a user. I don't even smoke weed. Like I mean,
Yeah.
I did when I was 19. I had to stop for the military for all those 25, 27 years. I have no now. Sometimes I'll have a little sip of chocolate whiskey before I sit down to write. It does help loosen things up a little
Ooh.
bit. Oh, it's really good. Ballatin chocolate whiskey. If there's ever a sponsor, I have talked so much love about your product. It is a delicious sip and drink. Just put it over ice, and it's
And what
delicious.
was that called again?
Ballatin, Ballotin, Ballotin. Yes, Ballatin chocolate whiskey. They also make a caramel truffle that's really cool. Turfle, however you say it. They have a caramel, a peanut butter, a chocolate. Chocolate's the best.
Cool. I will look into this.
Oh, it's wicked good.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm thinking if I had that fuck you mean, I'd have to find some kind of vice. I mean, the reality is like my characters have vices. I don't really drink too much. I'm not like with drugs. Maybe I watch a little bit too like. I mean, TV might be something, but yeah, I'd have to find like something eccentric and stupid. Um, I've my daughter, my oldest, loves like cars, and I've often said that like one of the things I would love to do is buy a couple of like say Bugatti Veyrons, and she's like, yeah, and then have a hooker demolition derby with them for no other reason than I could.
Well, I want to do like good things with them. Sometimes I want to do like because I have evil thoughts because you write evil characters, so it's like maybe I want to burn 200 grand to heat the homeless. Here's 5 minutes of warmth. I'll burn 500 grand in cash. There you go. You're warm. Then walk away. Like I could.
See, I'd want to make sure that people who had wronged me in the past knew that others around them were getting helped and somehow they were being skipped. That
Oh,
would
well, sure.
that would delight me no end.
Well, that's where you. Okay, so that's where you. When you got fuck you money, or even better, fuck me money, even better. If you get some fuck me money, that's where you hire Mark Hamill to play the Pym character, to show up and tell them like, she will not be helping you today. So,
Yes.
in fact, we buried 10 dead hookers on your lawn. So that kind of.
Mark Hamill, if you're listening, just put
Which
me
obviously he
pencil me in
is.
the calendar. Somewhere down the road, I will need your
and
services.
buy a shovel. It's like no, Mark. You don't
Hamill do the digging.
If you have
The man's in his
fuck
60s.
me money, yes, you're hiring Mark. It's like okay. Not only are you telling these people they don't get anything, you're burying these hookers, and you're wearing a Luke Skywalker robe as you're doing it.
No, I want him to dress like he did. Was it Laser Force? If you've not seen Laser Force, Google Mark Hamill. I want to say it's Mark Hamill Laser. I want to say it's Laser Mission. Let me see. Mark Force, I think.
Don't forget, he was also in The Guyver.
You're right. No,
He didn't play The Guyver, sadly.
Maybe I think.
Or you could just do a
trying
mashup. You'd be like, no, okay, Mark Hamill, you're burying the hookers, and you're wearing Sean Connery's costume from Zardoz.
Nice.
Oh, there we go.
It's like, why am I doing that? Why not?
Okay, that's weird.
Yeah, I can't. I'll find it later and I'll send it. Like, there's this weird movie he did that's kind of like this, like sci-fi laser cyber weird movie.
Laser
and I
Blast,
cannot think of
maybe?
it. Was it? Was that it? I don't know.
Because there was a movie
Laser
called
Hawk
Laser
and
Blast where
Laser
somebody
Blast.
somebody turns into like an alien monster or something.
Okay, we're gonna. Oh my!
Hang on.
That's a
What's
picture.
this?
Oh, it's a look.
That dude, that is hot, Mark Hamill. That is
definitely that's not Mark Hamill I'm used to.
that's right. But I can warm up to this.
All right, for bringing it back to where we can jump back in with Steve again. All right, so Mark
Steve.
Hamill wearing basically dressed like the Russian dude from Pacific Rim.
Or every Russian,
With
he looks like Brigitte Nielsen with a beard. What are you talking about?
He kind of looks like Kiefer Sutherland in The Lost Boys from the neck up. I mean,
Yeah.
From the
Okay,
neck
it's called
down,
Slipstream.
Slipstream.
The movie.
Okay.
The movie is called Slipstream. Yeah.
Don't think I've seen that.
I have not.
It's a 1989 movie. I've not seen it in probably since 1990. But
I mean, don't get me wrong.
I love
Mark Hamill.
The movies?
It's a potential, but I don't know Rachel's Law. I need to see it again to tell you if it's good, bad, or bad, or whatever. Because it's like I recommended The Hebrew Hammer for this Friday, and I love that movie. So we're gonna watch The Hebrew Hammer on the Hangout. But and I have seen that, so I can speak to that. It's in that sweet spot of good, bad.
Yeah, it's like I love Mark Hamill. I love that he's found a second career as voiceover. I love that he's doing well on Twitter and stuff. But he definitely, compared to say Harrison Ford, he definitely got the short end of the movie stick.
See, I'm going to disagree because outside of Indiana Jones and obviously Han Solo, I don't give a shit about the bulk of Harrison Ford's movies. I don't.
Oh, I like Harrison Ford a lot.
Was it Hollywood Homicide? Ooh,
I
did like
fun. I did like some of his Jack Ryan movies. But you're right.
There's
also a lot of movies he's done where I've watched and I'm like, why does what was it? One that stands out to me is Mosquito Coast. That's one of those movies I've watched once or twice and I'm like, why does this movie exist? I don't really understand why.
Yeah, but The Fugitive, he was really good.
Oh yeah, The Fugitive, he was good.
Sure.
In The Fugitive.
And of course, he's up with Tommy Lee, and that's just a dream team right there. So
that's Mr. Jones to you, ma'am. You call him Mr. Jones.
Nah,
On the
Tommy
flip on the
knows.
flip
Tommy
side,
knows.
what annoys me about Harrison Ford is that, and I understand why. I mean, the guy's an actor. He doesn't give one shit about the characters he plays. He shows up and does his job, does it like a professional. But like he's never anybody you would want to invite to a fan convention, because like he's one of those ones where you talk. It's like, oh, it's like, hey, what in this movie, and you did this, this, and this. Why was that? I don't give a shit. Do you want an autograph or not?
Right. Yeah.
Like he like
like, okay,
him and Robert De Niro kind of cut from the same cloth in that regards. And I don't know, like, to me, I love the actors who are also a little bit of fanboys as well.
Yeah.
yeah. I will say this because I'm looking at his IMDb right now, and I'm like, okay, Air Force One, sure, good movie, good movie.
Yep.
The Fugitive, fantastic. But I'm like, then you get like Clear and Present Danger. I didn't care for those Jack Ryan movies. The Devil's Zone, don't care. Frontline, 6 Days, 7 Nights, K-19, Hollywood Homicide, Firewall. I don't even know what the
Blade
fuck
Runner.
that is. Well, Blade Runner, but again, that's like 1980 something. Like,
Yeah.
that's like 1982. Of course, Blade Runner, but like,
Well, still,
like
I'm just saying, even though there's a whole bunch of them you're saying you don't give a shit about, and I agree. Comparatively speaking, you know, he has a lot more like hits on his hand, whereas Mark Hamill has
I'm
Star Wars and The Guyver.
well, but he also has like years of doing the Joker and years
Yeah.
of doing other voice
Yes,
work.
I mentioned that, but I'm
But
saying movie wise.
well,
Yeah.
okay, but I'm talking career wise,
Yeah.
like the reinvention, like Harrison Ford, like Han Solo, Indiana Jones are iconic, it's great. Like the Deckard guy from Blade Runner, that's like some people will say it's great, but at the time it was a bomb that became a cult following later.
Yeah.
These are all true facts. But then later on, it's like I'm Harrison Ford and I'm kind of trembling and pointing at things, and it was that same thing. It's kind of like a Jack Nicholson type thing over and
Yes.
over and over.
Yeah.
Fucking Hamill is versatile.
That's true.
Like I said, I was just saying in terms of movies, because no, there's no doubt he's like
Oh,
made a
there's
mark
no
in like
doubt. Yes, he's
voiceover.
got more movies. I mean,
Like
without a doubt,
I'm
he's more
going
of
to
a
tell you
movie
right now, I
star.
sure as shit would not hire Harrison Ford to do an animated voiceover. No fucking way.
No.
I
That
don't
would
even
be
know this
that,
No,
that,
goddamn
because
thing
that would be
is.
like listening to dry white toast.
yeah. I think he's physically he's even as an old man, I find him physically attractive. Um but he is still he's always kind of the same character. He's kind of somewhat irreverent action hero guy. And so even though Mark Hamill, on the other hand, can be different people.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, he's Harrison Ford is a great actor, and I'm a huge fan. Always have been, but he does always play kind of the same thing.
And one thing that
Well, yeah.
does annoy me, when actors have like blatant contempt for like I guess the character that made them huge. Like, and I guess that
Yeah,
annoys me about what like when anybody does that. It's like my breakout series was like Toma Bill. And do I occasionally get tired of writing Bill? Yes. But am I ever going to look at that and be like, no, I'm an artiste now? Almost no chance in hell of that happening. And like
That you've hit
and the
the
fact
nail
for
on the
years
head
that
so
he
many
is just
times.
blatantly hated like Han Solo, that does kind of rub me the wrong way.
Right. It does the
yeah,
same way with me because it's like one of those like, I'm not gonna talk shit about other writers to a degree. But all the times that George Martin, for example, everybody's waiting for the end of Game of Thrones. They are waiting. They don't, hey, here's a prequel to House of Dragon. Don't care. What about don't care? What about I don't care? I just want because now if I read my facts right, he originally was a TV writer. That was his first love before books. He liked writing for television. Then he unfortunately his book hit, and that's what made him famous, not television. Then years later, he turned that book into television. Great. But you're a multimillionaire because of the books. You're standing on the backs of those fans who propped you up, who lifted you above their heads, chicken wings and all, and said, you are exalted geek god. But would you be so kind as to shut up, fans? I do whatever I want. I'm a human. I understand that you're a human. I understand you have a human being's rights and passions and loves and fears and hopes and all the anxieties in the world. But dot dot dot, you're
But it comes
famous for the books.
it comes down to that fuck you money. He's got fuck you money, and
Oh, he does.
he's never shit on like the Game of Thrones. He's always like, but like at this point, he's got the fuck you money, and it's just like I guess mentally he's basically just like a squirrel. Like I guess he brought like I can understand to a degree. It took me 5 years to write Devil Hunters, which is the sequel to Bigfoot Hunters. And the reason is, and I tell people this all the time, is it wasn't the right time to write that book. I'd sit down, I'd get a
Sure.
few pages in, and the book would just be like, no, this is not happening. And it is quite possible that might be the case. Like now that Game of Thrones, the show is over, like mentally it might be a case of that, or mentally might just be a case of I have fuck you money, so I can do what I want. I don't know, but I do kind of like like it is. I definitely think it doesn't help the fact that he got huge halfway through the series.
Yeah.
Um, I mean,
It did make
as
me
much of
happy.
a terrible person as J.K. Rowling has turned out to be, at least like she got famous halfway through the series, and at least rode that pony all the way to the end. Um,
Right.
Yeah.
and then
Well, I mean,
decided to like and then decided to be like to like burn every bit of goodwill she ever had. But
well, I mean, she tried a lot of different things. And unfortunately, yeah, as we know, she's reached a new level of toxicity across various spectrums. I'm going to say that like with the Martin case, I'm done anyway. I'm done with those books a long time ago. Like I fell out of love with them a
Yeah.
long time ago. And it wasn't it also okay. So there was this game slash book slash nerd store in Maryland that my friend took me to, and there's this one hipster. This is many years ago who wouldn't shut the fuck up about those books. And like, yeah, I read the first one. I enjoyed it. I read the second one. It was good. The third one, I hadn't finished, but he would not shut. And this is before the show ever happened. And I was like, but he just kept like expounding and expounding, like just sucking on that Martin dick, just two fisting, just going to town on the dick. And so when the shows got in, but he was also super hipster. I don't want to give out any personal identifiers because this person would be if I gave out, they'd be very easily identifiable if I said who it was, or if I gave out some like like certain tattoos. You're like, oh, that guy, we know that guy. I'm not going to do that, but I can't unforget this individual. So when the show became mass popular and you could buy the Winter's Coming t-shirts at Walmart, it filled me with such a giddy warmth that this hipster fuckknuckle who wouldn't shut up about the genius of this guy that no one else could possibly understand how great he is now walking around with a branded t-shirt saying winter is coming or Lannister lust or whatever the fuck it's saying. And now everybody and their mom, like even your grandma's got a winter is coming t-shirt. The hipster hell this guy has to be in, just rolling. Oh my, I liked it first. It,
I thought
it gives
I thought Jon Snow was cool before all the rest of you. Nobody
it gives
cares.
me such warmth. My nipples are hard. I could cut glass with these things right now. It makes me so happy to know that this person's miserable because they were just don't give all your love to somebody clearly because they might let you down. Spread your love
Right.
around a little bit. Be a book whore. Be a writing slut. Fuck everybody. So I think that's really the spirit of Christmas. Yeah.
No, I 100% agree. Like there are writers, there are movie stars, there are directors I am fans of, but there is nobody that I am obsessively to the I can think of nobody where if I walk into a Comic-Con and there's a line around the building that I would wait for.
Right. No, there's no
Yeah.
celebrity I want to see. I'll never be one of those people and I don't fault people that want to go get their picture taken with a Doctor Who or Supernatural, but I'm not, truthfully meeting you guys, that's my level of celebrity that I was happy at. Like I read these guys' books. I'm a fan of them. Cool.
And
We
that
can
is a
shake
low,
hands. Let's
low
have a
bar.
beer. That is,
See,
and that's my bar.
yeah,
That's it.
see, that's my thing. I don't understand. I mean, I do understand the people that want to take pictures with famous people because ooh, look, I'm in a picture with Jason Momoa. Ooh, I'm in a picture with David Tennant, and that's great. And I'm glad that that makes them happy. I won't do it because the point is that I'm going to walk in, pay a stupid amount of money, stand beside David Tennant for all of 6 or 8 seconds, smile together, get a picture, and he is not going to remember me 5 seconds after I walk away. And
I
so,
Yeah.
what am I getting out of this? I'm not actually getting people. I feel like people do this thinking that they're getting some sort of connection with the famous
I
people
don't
that
want
they
to I
idolize,
don't want
but
to go
they're
down that
not.
one too far because it's like I mean I think there are some people even within the A&D like crowd or within the even with the Discord like I've seen some pictures they take with some celebrities they want to meet and what they do with their money. Like I've spent dumb amounts of money on a giant television that if I just waited 2 years I could have bought for like 10% of what I paid for it, you know? So it's one of those
Yeah.
like, if that brings you joy, I'm not faulting your joy. It's not
Yeah.
for me kind of thing, you know? That being said, I'm going to start charging for photos and I'll charge double for butthole photos. They won't necessarily be mine, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Now a fan sent me a picture from the one and only Leverage Con back in which happened years ago. Of They went and they bought me a picture with Christian Kane. Now I wasn't at Leverage Con, so it was him in the picture, and he's holding a sign that says "Hi, Misty." And that meant the world to me, not because it was Christian Kane having any sort of connection to me, but because my friend knew that I liked him and got him to
Right.
do that for me.
Right.
That for me was just worth everything. I'm trying to find it, but I've put it away somewhere for safekeeping, so now
like
God only knows.
when I was down at Dragon Con, I wandered through like I wandered into this random room. I think in I guess the Hyatt or whatever it was, and it turned out it wasn't like the A level the guest the guest of honor, but it was like basically the B and C level like celebrities, like people you would
Yeah.
recognize from shows. And I just found myself in there. I'm
Signing
walking
at
around
signing
and it's cool.
tables.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and my wife and I we used to watch that show the Magicians, and she was a huge fan
Yes.
of one of the actors there, and he was there, and I was just like,
Which one?
fuck, like like I went up to her and I was like, yeah, we watched the show. My wife's a huge fan. Can you just make out something to her? And she was mad at me. She was mad at me that day for something. I forget what it was. And I texted her and I was like, look what I got you, you know, a picture of it. And like, it was like it's 12 hours later because she was mad she wasn't looking at my test. And then she like suddenly gets a text like, oh my god, I can't believe you got this.
Which person?
That's awesome.
uh, God,
Man or
What did he
I
look
woman?
haven't
like?
man, um,
Tall or short?
like tall,
Okay.
Dark
It's
or blonde?
dark.
Elliot.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
No.
exactly.
No, Elliot's
Thank
Elliot.
you,
Well,
because
no,
I
no,
haven't
you're saying
watched the
dark
show in a
skin, then
while.
it's Katie.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, it was a guy who plays Elliot, and it's funny because that photo, it's like if you walk to my living room, it's like pictures of the kids and then that picture. See
That's
that
Nice.
nice.
that was worth it for me because I knew like that was like going to be appreciated.
Yeah,
And like
exactly.
and it's and my thing is just I don't know, it just feels weird just walking up and and I guess part of it is because I have social anxiety, so like just like I would almost rather like be like, okay, let me slip like your assistant a five, and he just hands me a photo, and now I don't have to like talk to people, and that's just
Right.
probably me being weird, but yeah, it's like like I have an aversion to standing on lines and waiting
I don't stand in line. I
for
don't go to
that.
the amusement parks for the same reason. I don't like standing in a queue. I don't do it
Yeah.
anymore. Like,
Yeah.
all right. Well,
I
we hit that
Now
like
now
hour and
now
38 minute mark.
let me just add the writer there that this is my personal thing. I absolutely love it. Like when our readers come up and talk to
Oh,
us and say
100%.
hi and like want pictures and stuff. That is the
Yes.
most wonderful thing in the world. I'm just talking about a weird conceit I have with
But
regards
that
to
is
that.
different because we are actually making a personal connection. We're going to stand there and chat with them longer than 5 or 6 seconds.
Oh, I go out
It's
to
not
lunch with them.
it's
So
not
yeah.
a factory line of smile and take a picture, smile and
Yeah.
take a picture, smile and take a picture like the ones that
Oh
I
yeah.
was talking
One,
about.
one, one of
In
my
our
favorite
case, we're
things.
making friends.
Yeah, one of my favorite things at past the hidden decons was like the just getting up early, going down and just having breakfast and like hanging out with people for a couple hours before the
100%.
con started.
Oh yeah.
It was just a lot of fun.
I like.
Just
I mean, I would take breaks like during the one in Charlotte and just go swimming. And if people were there, I just go swimming with them and just hang out. I like swimming. It's a great way to just it helps really it washes off the con stink to begin with. Because whenever you just walk around, you just got grundle juice and it's gross. And you just need to
uh,
swim a little bit.
so
And
so so
you know,
so so yeah. If you're at the next A&D con and Gibby's in the pool, just know that he's there trying to wash your stink off of him.
also my desperation, my imposter syndrome, my cloying, and the stink, and without a doubt, because it's like it gets conventions tend to get grungy.
Oh yeah, there,
Oh
there
yeah.
there's any convent. Yeah, there's a certain dirtiness at conventions, and yeah.
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 Like even now, like It's hard to say post-COVID because like my middle son just had it like 2 weeks ago. But I guess in this post like pandemic freak out like world, I don't really see I like the idea now of having like a thing of hand sanitizer at my at my table for me and for anybody who wants to use it.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, we just hit the hour and 40-minute mark, and he's gonna have a hard
I
time
think it's probably
editing
time
this.
to wrap it up. Now that we're talking,
Yeah.
now that we're getting into like germaphobe talk.
Steve's gonna be like, "You sons of bitches." We love you, Steve.
Oh, he can edit out 20 minutes of you guys trying to find that photo of Mark Hamill.
It was worth it.
We love you,
All right.
Steve.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you for joining us for this episode of. I don't even know how he's going to put it out there. We'll call it a side quest, or we'll call it an interlude, whatever he calls it.
Year in review, sort of. Maybe.
We only did one thing in review.
With sandwiches.
Yeah.
And
thanks
to answer
for
Zach's
joining us on
questions, I
this
like shenanigans.
cornucopia, show. I guess we'll be back next time with either a side quest or the next episode of Quest for Competence, whatever's next in the in the recording order. And until then, thanks for tuning in to Authors and Dragons.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Authors and Dragons is brought to you under a Creative Commons license, meaning you are free to share this material so long as credit is given to those who created it, which is us, the people you just heard play the game. Opening and closing themes performed by the Gore Core 4.
Authors and Dragons! Authors and Dragons!